What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Journey to Success podcast, the 13th episode, man. I'm hyped. I'm hyped this morning, man. I know it's a little early. He had to do some push-ups before we got on this camera. Like,
I gotta wake up. Try to wake up.
It's a little bit early. It's a little bit early, but hey, we like to get things done in an early fashion sometimes because, especially on a Saturday, because then we got time to get to ourselves. Yeah, we got time to ourselves. Now this book gonna keep following the wind blowing, but hey, get back up. You see it. But man, today we got a great episode for you guys. But first things first, you know that we gotta tell you what this is about. Maybe this is your first time listening. We gotta tell you what this podcast is about. First of all, we want to thank you for watching. You know what I'm saying? We want to thank you for tuning in. But this podcast is not your ordinary success podcast. It's not about that, right? This podcast is about the journey. Like we want the climb. We want to help somebody realize their purpose. We want to help somebody. We want to give you that push. We want to give you that boost. We want to help you along your journey. We've been into this game. You've been in almost a year with me. And you know, like this entrepreneurial journey. And this ain't just for entrepreneurs. This is for anybody. We talk about life, guys. We talk about life. We talk about our struggles. We talk about our failures. We basically get on here and we just spill out our hearts, spill out our lives.
Yeah, that's talk. Because mostly, when you see these kind of things, you're talking to people who've already made it.
Right.
You're talking to people who've already there.
Right.
And then it's kind of hard. You don't see the behind the scenes work.
Not at all.
The early
build. You don't get to see the build. You don't get to see them laying that foundation and building that building. And you gonna get to see it with this. Like you gonna see
day by day.
This is like what, the 13th episode. So you gonna see by episode 50 we gonna be on a whole nother level. Like for real, by episode 100.
You gonna look back at this and you gonna see even the quality of these videos.
Right.
I remember
doing it on the phone. Remember we had to get together like some kind of weird contraption to get it together. We didn't have that tripod. You know what I'm saying? When you was in there, look, the video, my man was shaking. My man got nervous, bro. He's shaking
I got epilepsy.
And I'm in there, good morning, everybody. I'm pumped up. I'm motivated. I'm excited. Bro, we was getting it in, man. But them were the days that we gonna miss once we get to that level when it's like we got all these cameras.
And we're gonna be like,
we started from nothing. We started from the mud. I get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna be like, yo, we came from the mud. And that's what we want you to see with this podcast. We want you to see that we not perfect. Right, we're not even there yet. Like, we trying to get there, and anything that we learn on the way, we want to give it to you guys, and we also want to have some dialogue. Like, we don't just want this to just be us. So if you listen to this podcast, comment below, email us, tell us what you may want to hear, some things that you may be struggling with, because we are here just to help. Like, if we can help in any kind of way, that's what we want to do. Like, we here to serve. This is a service for us, man. So if you watched this podcast before, you know we got our first segment every podcast is what's crazy, right? You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this, bro. You know what's crazy?
Tell me what's crazy.
There's no finish line.
That's true.
Like, in this journey, there is no finish line. Like, I think a lot of times we look at success, and that's why I always say success as a destination. Like, yo, I'm here. But you don't realize that it never ends. Like, if you rest on your laurels for a minute, you can lose everything. So there is no finish line with this thing. There is no, I'm done. Like, I ran my race.
I've got here.
The finish line is death, basically. There is no finish line. I really was thinking about that because I'm like, yo, why is it that we try to rush? Like, we writing this part about patience and serenity and control on our book, The Power Is Yours, be coming out very soon, guys. And we writing this part about patience and serenity. And I'm thinking like, yo, why is it that we rush this thing? Like, why do we rush to try to get to a certain level that really when it's going to take us time to get there? And if we take our time and we get there on time, how we supposed to get there, then we could be able to sustain it. But a lot of times we try to sprint this bad boy.
Get there and you can't keep it up.
Yeah, you get there and you can't. You're not even the person that can stay at that level yet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I want to encourage somebody to drive slow, man. Like, I don't know if y'all know that song, Kanye West, because I used to be Kanye West used to be like my favorite artist of all time. Yeah, don't rush to get grown, drive slow. Like, for real, like, that album, Late Registration, really helped me out a lot. But that lesson, man, I had to learn that lesson because I'm not a very patient person. Like, for real, I'm not a very, like, yo, all right, however the chips fall. I'm like, yo, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not like, And don't get me wrong, I didn't come from no silver spoon. I didn't come from that, right? So I'm not like a brat or an instant gratification lover or something like that, right? I just rather get things done. I'd rather make it happen. And I dealt with a lot of disappointments in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like father not being there. You think daddy gonna come one day, and he never come. You know what I'm saying? So if you can control something, if I can control an outcome, I'm gonna try to control it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we do in life, and we don't practice patience, man.
I think, when you talk about controlling something, you have to realize that, are you living outside of your realm of control?
Right. Most definitely. When you're not being patient, most definitely. And that's what I'm learning, man.
That's a hard lesson to learn, man.
It is.
It's hard to accept that there are some things in my life that I can't.
Even with your own time, though.
Yeah.
Because
like today, for example, we made a plan. I was late.
Right.
So you couldn't control my promptness or my timeliness.
Right.
But to get upset or to even let that affect your day in a way is staying outside of your realm of control.
Right. And I'll show you something right here as far as growth. Because years ago, I would have been, man, why you ain't here? Blah, 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 blah.
Let's say months ago.
He called me out on the podcast. But no, like, for real. Even some months ago, I might have been like, man, why? But I'm learning, like, yo, that's not, like, at least my man, because, like you said, this is still fairly new. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, at least my man's getting up, he's going. Like, you could have just been like, you know what? I'm asleep. I'll deal with it later. You know what I'm saying? For real. But I'm starting to learn, like, man, you got to look at stuff from other people's perspectives. You got to be able to empathize. And I'm not a very empathetic person either. Yeah. So not being patient, not being empathetic, it don't work the way it's supposed to work. So, yeah, man, I think patience is a huge thing, man. And I think patience is something that we have to deal with consistently. Like, it's something that we're going to have to deal with for our whole lives. Yeah. Like, even though we might have done everything that we could possibly do to make the outcome be what we want it to be. And it still won't go that way. And we have to practice patience. Just think about, like, sometimes when we had speaking engagements lined up, we did the work, we did what we were supposed to do, and then something comes in the way, and it's no fault of our own. It's like, yo, the teacher might have said, oh man, I forgot I scheduled this or this, you know what I'm saying? And then something happens.
Ben Davis.
Or even say, like, when we go and do a conference, we expecting to do this, and this, and then somebody then try to control the whole thing, get us to do, so patience is something that we always just consistently, it's a teacher, man. It's like it continuously teaches us lessons. It continuously teaches us how to grow, basically.
Think of it like this. How many times have y'all been in a situation, it's like, thank God I just would have waited. If I'd have just took my time.
Right.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. My mom used to say, measure twice, cut once.
Ooh, explain that. I like that.
Measure twice, cut once.
Measure twice, cut once.
Once you do something, it's done. Once you do it, it's done.
Right.
Can't take it back.
Okay.
So measuring twice it symbolizes just like make sure every step you take is calculated, purposeful,
intentional. Okay.
Don't just be out here cutting like I say this because I built my apartment, right? And so like you got to be patient, because if I cut a piece of wood, especially if I bought it,
right.
If I cut a piece of metal, a piece of tile,
you can't undo that.
You can't undo it. You wasted money. You wasted time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I like that, man. Hey, that's a real life lesson.
Yeah.
Measure twice, cut once, and that means sometimes we have to scale back because here's how it goes. If you measure once and just cut, there might, like you said, it might be that small fraction. Now in our lives, it might be that small fraction that we overlooked because we were trying to rush it or we were trying to hurry up and get it done. That's with anything, man. That can be, we can relate that to fitness. We can relate that to business. Like there's some things that we got to go back and say, hold on. Like let's retract this. Like especially in this in speaking, man, because we got to go back and say, okay, could we have said that better? Because that when we get up there, that's the cut. Exactly. When we get up there and speak, that's the cut. You know, so we got to measure it twice. Like, what do we have to?
Hold on. Let me take that back.
Right.
They didn't hurt it. You didn't mess up.
It's live now. It's live now. So that's important, man. Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice and cut once. That goes so far, man. That can go to a point where, say, your boss is pissing you off. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you got to go. You might have to take a walk. That's measuring once. Take another lap. That's measuring twice. You're trying to think about it because, man, like, a lot of times, people, we don't know what people go through, and people don't know what we go through. We could be having a terrible day. Mm-hmm. We could be having a terrible week, and then your boss come to you with some bull. He don't know you dealing with somebody sick, something going on. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what's happening. So you never know what people dealing with.
Right. So sometimes we gotta escape, and like that's that measurement. You know, sometimes we gotta say, okay, hold on. Let me
just
take a breath.
stepping back. That's
right. Let me take a breath.
Patience. Being patient is measuring.
Right. Being patient. I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah, because you don't want to be a person who just impulsivity is terrible to me.
Right.
I hate impulsive people because not only will they make wrong decisions for them part. If they're a part of your circle, part of your life, even
it affects you.
It will affect you.
And sometimes it affects you greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's major, and that's one thing that I don't think even family members get.
No,
because a lot of times a family member will make a decision, and it affects them, but it affects you too. Right. And we all have dealt with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, somebody go out and do something crazy, and it affects them because they might have got in trouble. They might have had this, but it affects you too because maybe you got to come out of pocket and help them out. Maybe this got to happen. Maybe that got to happen. So man. We have to always be calculating. We always got to be in a mindset of let's measure this out. Let's see. Now I'm not telling you to be lackadaisical and be like, okay, I'm trying to plan, get this figured out. Maybe this ain't. No, I want you to just sit back and be like, okay, how am I gonna go about today? How am I gonna go about this next step? And think about it, get an idea, and then reevaluate that idea and say, okay, yep, let's go forward. Because sometimes, man, dang, I remember. A guy told me this a long time ago. The man who thinks twice is a genius in today's era.
Okay.
Because most people don't think twice. They, like you said, impulse. They just go. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. Think about like some of the crimes that happened. They didn't think maybe even once about some of the stuff they did. For real, if they think twice, like if they calculate everything, okay, I'm gonna go to jail. This gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Would they have done it if they think twice? And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. The person who thinks twice is a genius in today's age. I'm like, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. But I want to get into something, man, because we talk about this journey. Mm-hmm. And I even say it's a marathon a lot of times because, like I said, there's no finish line. So I want to talk about check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Okay.
Right? And this could be a good or a bad thing. So I think let's bring it down to something, a sport. So I'm thinking, and I don't know if some of y'all don't count driving or a race car as a sport, but it's considered a sport, right? So just think about on the racetrack. Now, I don't watch the race because it's too long. It's like 500 laps. I check them out on the last two or something, you know. But during these laps, it's a marathon. It's a race, right? And they're going around and around and around. And at a certain amount of miles, they got to do some type of preventative measures. They gotta check the oil. They gotta check the tires, change the tires. They gotta maybe do the spark. You know, they gotta do something, right? So I'm thinking, like, why don't we ever do that in our lives? Sometimes we'll just run ourselves rugged.
That's true.
Without even ever checking to see, okay, is this even working? Am I even doing the right thing? Like, am I even doing what's important? I've been learning, man, that a lot of times we gotta focus in. Because there's one thing that we can do that will make everything else grow. So I know for a fact in our business that if we practice every single day, and if we practice our storytelling, practice our stories, practice our points, that everything else works. We sell books that way. We get more audience on the podcast that way. Everything stems from this one thing. So all of our energy, 80% of our energy needs to be going to this one thing. And I don't think that we do that in our lives, man. I don't think we do that preventative maintenance and say, okay, what's the one thing? When they're on that track, they know, okay, there's one thing that we cannot let happen. They can't pop a tire out there. You know what I'm saying? That can't happen, because if they pop a tire out there, they lose the race almost instantly.
That's true.
It's barely ever that you pop a tire out there and
But if we're talking about the Indy 5, they got a team checking them.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's not.
So you need to surround yourself with a team that can check you.
When that car pulls in, they don't even get out the car.
Right. I like that, man. I like that, because And all those people are looking. They're watching. They're like, okay, what's going on? Okay, boom, we got to do this. We got to do this.
They watching your progress. They watching your levels, your everything.
Right.
Oh, you need gas. Oh, your tire pressure's getting low.
I like that, man. I like that.
So I feel what you're saying, checking maintenance, but at the same time, you understand that they're not out there alone.
Right. So, okay, I like that. Some of us are trying to, I didn't even think about hitting it. Some of us are trying to run this race alone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like, even at a marathon, even if you go run a marathon, you might show up to the race by yourself, but you still got people handing you water. You still got people rooting you on. You still got people pushing you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can't do it by yourself. So maybe you need to get yourself in an environment that's going to push you. And most of you that might be listening to this podcast, you don't want to do that because you don't like getting checked. You like being in a situation where everybody's inferior and everybody's like, "Oh, you the greatest. Oh, you bet. You know. Oh," and you always in a mindset of you need to be affirmed instead of getting around people who can cut you for real. Like, yo, you focus on the wrong things. Like for real, I had to talk to you, and the perfect person for me is my wife. Cause my wife gonna be like, she gonna be for real with it.
Hey boy.
She gonna be for real with it. Cause I had to talk to her about some things. I'm trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this. She was like, yo, you trying to do too much. Like for real. And a lot of times I don't even think about this, but I don't even talk to her a lot of times about it. And it's not like I do it consciously, but I'm like, yo, I need to talk to her even more because she's going to do that cutting. And I need that cut. That's why I got a coach, Pierre Evans. That's why I got a coach. And if you guys aren't in the Fifth Quarter Living movement, you need to be a part of it. My man's name is Pierre Evans, and I believe he's the best coach out there.
Yeah.
Like for real. I believe he's the best coach out there. I believe that he can get you to the level that you want to get to. In all honesty, I truly believe that, right? And he's taken me and took me to a different level all because of the cut. Like, he can watch my videos that I'm putting out. He can watch me do a speech and say, yo, okay, you did that good. I know they said it was good, but I'm telling you, in order for you to get to the level that you want to go to, you got to do this. That's a cut. It don't feel good. It don't feel good. I'm pretty sure that it don't feel good for that person who's running that marathon or that person who's in that race. It don't feel good for them to have to stop and get that cut or get that preventative measure like, yo, yeah, you about to run this. You about to run yourself to the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Or you need to adjust. You need to slow down. You need to do this. Like, this is a journey. This is a marathon. And that's important, man. We got to surround ourselves around people who can check us, who can hold us accountable. If you don't got an accountability partner, I don't know nobody great that don't got no coach. Like in wrestling, coach. Football, coach. Every sport, everything that has a championship attached to it has a coach. Michael Phelps even got a coach. He don't just jump in the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, even he got a coach. Like, coaches can push you, man. And an accountability partner, like, I know for a fact, since that last podcast we did the habits, how many times have I texted you and been like, yo, let's get on it. You know what I'm saying? Every single morning. That's just accountability. Now, he could take offense to that and be like, come on, bro. Come on, for real. But he understands that in order for him to reach the goal, in order for him to be consistent, we need that push. I need the push. Yeah. Even if you are doing it, even if you did it 21 days straight, I might still hit you up because we get weak, man. Sometimes we stray away from what works. I was listening to this yesterday, bro, and it's crazy. It's like, why is it that human nature is to stray away from things that we know work sometimes? I forgot what they called it. It's a technical word to it. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like we will stray away from things that know it works. So check this out. In your diet, you know if you eat this, and this, that this is going to get you to your result. But you like, ooh, that cheeseburger. Ooh. I know this ain't good for me at all. I know this been working, but I want that. Why do we do that?
Path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance, okay. And it makes us feel good and comfortable. So I don't know what it is. But I'm like, why do we know that some things are just terrible for us. For real, I'm going to be honest with you. Last night, my wife came home with a Coca-Cola cake. What? A chocolate cake. It's like made it. I don't know, bro. I don't know these contraptions, bro. But I know that mug was fire. And I didn't even eat that much. But check this out. I knew it was fire. It's 10 o'clock at night.
Disgusting.
You know what I'm saying? And I knew, look, I'm looking at the cake. I'm like, let me just smell you. You know, for real. And I know that cake isn't good for me. And I know it's definitely not good for me at 10 o'clock at night. But I still, You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. I still let me just get a little taste. You know, for real. Even though we know that it's bad for us, right? So we know what's good for us a lot of times, but we won't do the things that's good for us. We know that working out is good for us, but sometimes we still don't work out.
Yeah.
Right? We know that having that accountability partner is good for us, or putting ourselves in the right circle is good for us, but we still stray away from those things. Why do you think that is? I know you said path of least resistance, but let's dig a little deeper into that. Like,
I think it's just, people. I don't know, man. I think humans
take your time with it, brother.
Humans just like what's easy, and
But like, what made us like that? Because life was never easy for us, like from the beginning of the time.
Technology.
It's just technology and the convenience of things,
exactly.
basically.
So no longer. I remember, think of a time where we had to hunt for food.
Right.
Bruh, I can call somebody and get McDonald's delivered to this spot.
$1.
McDonald's.
Right.
Think about how first off, let's look at how disgusting McDonald's is already.
Right.
Now that you ain't even,
you gotta leave the house.
You gotta at least get up. There's some kind of movement, some kind of drive to go get it. Now I can make a call, send a text, go up, send an email, and get it delivered to my location.
Yeah, you're right. So now it's just the fact that we have everything at the grasp.
It's still there's no sense of urgency. There's no sense of drive to, you no longer gotta hustle to get it. You no longer. But if you wanted something like that, you gotta go get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to, they got all this. I used the fit tummy tea.
Yeah,
drink this, get fit. Put this weird.
It works.
Put a what they call that
wrap
waist
on,
trainer. Let's push your organs together to
lose weight.
Just give the impression of looking good.
Right.
Like, come
man,
on,
you right, man. Because I saw somebody say, first of all, this is crazy. I heard somebody say that working out is overrated.
No.
I'm like, what? I'm like, do you know that that's necessary to be healthy? And then I heard somebody say, "Oh, you could be fit and look good without ever exercising." Look at me. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I get you can eat the right things, but I'm like, exercise is essential for your heart health, for your body's health.
Diet is only 80%. You still need the 20.
Yeah, you still need the 20. You still need the 20. You still need the 20%. And man, like going back to that accountability. We all need that accountability. We need that person in our lives that's telling, like, yo, I get it. I get what you're saying, but you still need to go exercise. Yeah. Like, we need that person in our lives that's why I love moms. That's why I love, because mom's going to keep it real with you. Yeah. Mom ain't going to never lie. Like, you out here doing some stupid stuff, mom going to be like, yo, you doing some stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And she got a good one. They going to really hold you accountable.
And she going to really hold you accountable. Even at
playing.
25. No.
Not even playing. I firmly believe this, that and let's, fuck, I'm gonna say it. I think if parents, I know it's a new age,
Right.
Don't get your kids, don't. I think discipline.
Yeah.
It's critical.
Oh, discipline is critical, man.
I think
it's critical. It is.
I look back on some of the things that I could have got into. You probably do the same.
Yeah.
But
absolutely. But you knew that belt was coming.
Exactly. Fear of.
I remember. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this story. I remember, bruh. Okay, disgraceful. I got expelled from middle school. Right.
We know what.
I got expelled from middle school, and just bad behavior. Let's just say bad behavior, terrible behavior. Right. So I go home. I get home that night. My mom don't even look at me. Don't even say nothing to me. So I know it's going down. Right? I know it's going down. I'm expecting, okay, about an hour I'm in here. For real, in about an hour I'm in this room. I'm about an hour. This whooping's going to be coming. Bruh, I stayed up all night.
Never came.
I got drowsy. I got weary. I wrapped tight up in the cover because I'm like, I want to know when this is coming. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel the tug on the blanket if she coming with that rag, right? So I'm laying there, bro. I'm asleep. I knock out. Somehow the cover is unraveled. And at the wee hours of the morning. In the wee hours of the morning.
Before the sun
as the sun was blessing the sky, here comes that, bro. Never felt it before.
Did you see the eclipse of the belt?
It wasn't a belt. It was a paddle this thick, this long, bruh.
in case of emergency.
Bruh, I ain't never wanted to meet Jesus like that ever in my life. I wanted Jesus to just come and get me right now.
I'm ready, Lord.
Take me, God. I'm just like, for
ready.
real, for bruh.
If it be my time, Lord.
I saw that. I said, Jesus, is that you? Boom, bruh. But that discipline, I never needed another one. And it was like that, like you said, that checked me like, yo, you going down a path that if you continue down this path, you gonna end up in jail. Something's gonna happen. Or you might end up dead. Mama kept me accountable, and most of us, we don't want that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't get that.
We don't want nobody to hey, let's get it back in life. For real though, that's real. There's some people in here that literally hang around the people that they've been around for the rest of their life, because those people never hold them accountable. Mm-hmm. It's easy to be around that person. That person's not gonna tell you, oh, you should have worked out. They're gonna say, no, let's eat these chips. Let's do this. Let's do that. And let's be real. When you try to better yourself, you have to get in a better circle. You have to get around people that have your best interests in mind. You have to get around people that you can push and that can push you. Mm-hmm. And that won't allow you to do no bull. They're going to tell you straight up, you own some bull.
Amen.
Like, for real.
Amen.
Like, for real. And this is the thing, like, even in business, man. Even in business, I was talking to my man's T-Bird about this, Tyler, you know, Mr. New Wave. I was talking to him about this. I'm like, if we don't have people in our lives that okay, we got people in our lives that will only support us and not tell us when a product isn't that good, or won't tell us this or this or that. They'll just say, oh man, that was great. We can't have those type of people around, because that's giving us a false look on what we're really doing. Yeah. Like, seriously, like, if you was just like, if we was practicing or we go and speak and you were just like, that was perfect. Like, you can't do it no better than that. You always look like, I don't even think you ever tell me when all right, you did this good. You know, I usually have to ask, like, okay, what was the good? But you just like, yo, you know, that story, man, you could have went in, you know. So I need that. We all need that, man. We need that person that's going to hold us accountable, because a lot of times we're not honest with ourselves, and when we assess. We don't assess ourselves right. We think we here when we actually here. And it's okay to be here. But it's not okay to be here and think you're there.
You know what? I don't even think you can, like, truly even assess yourself, because you only hearing yourself, and your voice sounds good to you. You know what I mean? So you're not gonna be like, you need somebody. Who's outside of that, who can look at you.
Yep. You need somebody on the outside looking. Like, just like what Coach Grundy used to tell you all the time. You see one person, I see two.
Hey.
When he's watching you, for real. And that's real, man, because I never thought about it. That's why I don't watch my own work. Like, when I go speak, I know a lot of speakers, they might go watch themselves. I don't really watch myself, because, first of all, I'm brutal to myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I won't even see the good. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in order to grow, you got to see both. So I won't even be like, I would just focus straight on the bad. So I just send it off to the coach, send it to you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and you're right, man. Like, a lot of times we can't but let me say this. Self-assessment is important.
It is.
But if you can't be honest with yourself, you're gonna need that cut from somebody else.
No, I think you're gonna need it anyway.
Right. You're gonna need it anyway. Yeah, you're gonna need it anyway.
Even if you, like you said, you're brutal on yourself. Right. You might need somebody to say, hey man,
stop being
pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, chill out. You know, stop. Yeah. You know, we are all our own worst critics.
Yeah.
You know what
a lot
I mean?
of times, but some people think, some people not though. You know, some people are like, yo,
that's the problem.
I'm great. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and you ain't great yet. And it's okay, like I said. And this is what I love about what we do, what I love about this podcast. We ain't trying to fake nothing. We telling you, like, we not there yet. We telling you, like, even this is called the Journey to Success podcast for a reason, because we're on the journey. We're with you in this. You know what I'm saying? We're in this thing. Like, we're not trying to sit up here and lie and say, oh, man, we got the Bentley parked out. You know what I'm saying? This finna be a breeze. Lying on this podcast finna be a breeze. And then they come and see our live like, big fella.
No, that Buick came on.
Yeah, for real. And we ain't trying to lie. We being honest with you. We still have struggles. We being honest with you. We still struggling in areas. Maybe we didn't do our fitness right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I commend my brother right here, man. He ain't trying to skip no steps. He's like, yo, I'm going to do this piece by piece. If y'all ain't noticed from, like, the first podcast, my man had lost about 50 pounds since the first podcast. Looking good. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. My man picked up the pieces. And it took a cut. It took, like, sometimes I hold you accountable, and I ain't trying to dig in you, but I'm like, yo, I know you on this journey. Maybe you don't need to, I'm not telling you don't eat that, because you already got it.
And
that's one thing.
And I like it because it like holds me accountable.
Right. And that's one thing that I'm real quick talk about leadership. That's one thing about leadership I've learned that I used to be the type of person that would say I used to be the type of person that if I knew you was on the journey, I'm trying to hold you accountable. I think I'm doing the right thing, right? If I knew you was on the journey and I see you eating some junk, I would be like, come on, bruh. Come on, man. Why would you? Come on. Why are you eating it? You can't uneat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't uneat it. So really what I've learned is that I gotta be like, yo, all right, next time I'm gonna help you. Look, maybe you can choose this. Yeah, like, I gotta meet you where you are and take you where you need to, help you. Not even take you where you need to go. Help you to get where you need to go. Especially if I'm in a place where, okay, I've been working out for a while, maybe I can help him out. Now I'm not gonna be like, yo, don't eat, don't just go,
and I know
throw
that.
It out. You know, right?
I know you had the business here.
Right. So yeah, most people don't know I had a fitness business. You know what I'm saying?
So I know you know what you're talking about.
Right.
So like the diet and everything like that.
Right.
So I know I have a source of information on what I'm trying to do.
Right. And that's important, man. I gotta say this because a lot of times we like to hold each other, like we were talking about accountability. We like to hold other people accountable, but we won't hold ourselves accountable. Or we don't want nobody else holding us accountable. You know what I'm saying? So when I hold you accountable, if you saw me eating some junk, you gonna be like, bro, you just told me. Like, for real, you just told me not to eat it. You eating it. Like, I can't be like, bro, you shouldn't eat that. Hand that over. Slide that piece over here. Slide that piece over there. You don't deserve this. You know what I'm saying? For real. So
you should not be.
Right. So if you go, so this is why I'm saying check yourself before you wreck yourself, because you gotta live the life that you're portraying. Like, for real, we gotta live the life. I had to live this life. Just get back up. I had to live this. The only way that this is a book because I had to live this. The Power Is Yours, the book that we writing. We not like looking up somebody's life and be like, oh, that sounds good. Let me write that. We talking about our lives. I'm telling you about how 21 years of my life I felt like I was powerless. Like the outside, like my environment controlled my destiny. Like the fact that I grew up in poverty controlled my destiny. The fact that I didn't have my father in life control my destiny. Until I came to the realization that I'm in control of my destiny. Right? So I had to live that. I'm not just talking about that. I had to live that. I lived like that. I lived in a place where I didn't believe in myself. I lived in a place where I dealt with self-doubt, self-confidence issues. I didn't like the person that was in the mirror. I had to live that. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't lying. We ain't saying, I ain't telling people, oh, I went through depression. I actually went through depression. You know what I'm saying? And faked it. You know what I'm saying? And had to fake it. Never could be out here like, oh. But like, for real, I've dealt with that. I've dealt with some things, and we ain't out here trying to lie about nothing. We keeping it all, and that's why I think a lot of people fool with us, because we're transparent with our lives, man. We telling you like, yo, just 3 years ago, I'm living upstairs in somebody's house. 3 years ago, I lost my job. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you like my real life struggles, man. And that's I love that, man.
It's relatable.
I love that.
Everybody's been fired. Everybody gets depressed. Everybody has struggles, trials.
But it's rare in today's age, man, where everybody kind of just wants to be either the man, the chick. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be it. And it's like sometimes, man, it's not about that. Sometimes it's letting people know right where you are and you help somebody right where they are. My coach told me something, man. He said, basically, I can't say it the exact same way he says, but basically, like, you get information from people who are above you. Right, so you learn from the people who are above you, and you leverage that to the people who may be struggling, like right where you were. You know what I mean? Just in a different phase from right where you were. So you don't try. Like, how crazy would it be for us to have this podcast and try to talk to somebody who's successful? We sitting there like, hey, Darren Hardy, bro, come on, you gotta listen to this podcast, man. You gotta get some of this.
Buffett.
My man's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, my man's is successful already. How could we dare even try to?
We should learn from him.
Yeah, we should be there, not even speaking. And that's the problem with most people, man. We get around people who got the juice, who got the answers, and we trying to talk. We trying to run our mouth, tell people what we do. I promise you, man, I got around this guy, and I ain't about to name drop, but I got around this guy, man. I told him straight up, I'm here just to serve. I don't want nothing from you. Like, for real, I don't want nothing from you. I'm here to serve because you got information that I need. And the only way for me to get this information is for me to serve you. I'm not in this position to be like, yo, man, I speak, man. Bruh, take me on the road. This man been doing it 20 years. How could I dare even step up there and say, and most of you would do that. Like, for real, most of you will see somebody who's right where you want to be, and you be like, yo, I do this, I do that, and blah, blah, blah. No, just learn from the person. Serve that person. Learn. It's okay to be a student. That's why I was talking about this yesterday, man. I want to get into this real quick about failure. Okay. Remember we were talking about failure yesterday, right? And I was saying we should seek to fail. In our business, in our lives, we should seek to fail. Now, it depends on what your definition of failure is. Okay. Right? So my definition of failure is different. My definition of failure, because a lot of people are afraid of failure, they try to avoid failure. I look at failure as a teacher. Yeah. Because, and here's the thing, you got to get this. Because I feel like the only true failure is when you don't give your all to something and then you don't reach the mark.
I agree.
So you can't reach the mark if you don't give your all to it. But you knew that, like going into it, you didn't give your all and you didn't reach the mark. That's failure to me. But I feel like if you gave everything if you prepared, if you did everything that you possibly can, there's never failure. There's only lessons. So I'm saying when I say seek failure, I'm saying seek those lessons because there's a lesson in everything, even if you did great.
So I told you we'd have to get up. We'd have to talk about this face to face. Right. We were going back and forth for like an hour.
Yeah. We were like typing and taking, like we was going in like, no, bro, you gotta fail. No, bro, you gotta fail.
We were going back and forth about this for at least an hour.
Right.
I don't believe you should seek failure. Right. And I might have been taking that literally.
Right. Yeah, literally.
And
so
I was like, I kept like, hey man, maybe we need to consider.
Yeah. Cause I get it, man. I get it. I truly get it. You know what I'm saying? Because most people, like I said, it's my personal definition of failure because I've failed plenty of times, and the only reason that I can even talk to anybody because I failed.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay there. You know what I'm saying? So
you learn something.
Right.
So every failure, there's a lesson in the failure.
Right. I look at the failure
as a lesson.
Yeah. I look at failure.
I think of the failure as a teacher. Whatever you get from it is a lesson.
Because I think you're still thinking of failure literally. I'm thinking of failure as this. We killed the engagement. Right? Everybody loved it.
Okay.
But I know in my mind that I could have did better.
Yeah.
I look at that, okay, there was a failure in there because I didn't do what I know I could do. Or I didn't go higher. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take it to the...
Do you feel as though you didn't give your all?
No, I gave my all.
Then I don't feel like that's a failure.
But remember what I mean by failure. I mean failure as a lesson. So there's a lesson there still, regardless of how good I did. Okay. I'm looking for the lesson. So let's just rename failure to lesson. Right? Yeah. 'Cause I'm looking for the lesson in everything. Mm-hmm. I go out there, I kill the engagement. They happy, they paid me, they bought the book, and I still went home. I sent it to Pierre, and he was like, "Yo, you had him right here, and you let him off the hook." You know what I'm saying?
So let's say something like.
So there was a lesson. So
so I think it's just something you can improve upon.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why I tell you like we were talking about sports. Like in preparation, I don't feel like there's any failure.
Right.
Unless you're just not doing it. You have to. Right. That's the failure. There's no if you going hard in practice and you ain't doing something right, you're not failing.
Right.
You just trying. You just let's do it again. You can do it better. That's what I tell you. You can do it better. Right. Say that better. Do this better. Come on, man.
But see, when my mindset on failure is, because I look at, this is why I work out, because I get a lot of lessons from working out, right? So when you work out, you're preparing. Say you're preparing for life, you're preparing for an event, whatever. You working out, right? You work your muscles to failure.
Okay.
You're in preparation, but you still work your muscles to failure because that's where the most growth is. That's where you're breaking down the most muscle. That's when that muscle can rebuild the most, right? So you go to that failure and then you get stronger. So I feel like every day I'm seeking to fail, not in the sense that like literal failure. I'm seeking to fail because I'm seeking for that lesson, that growth.
Is such a horrible word to use. Like it just throws me off every time I hear it.
I know, but
so let's say when I think of it, I was like, okay, we used to call it a maximum output,
right?
And so, I don't know. I think just the word failure itself is just like...
It sounds so bad because we've been...
It's just doing this to me.
But failure, we've been conditioned, man.
Yeah, but you're
to think of failure the wrong way.
I think it should stay that way, bro.
I don't because if you look at the literal definition of failure...
Lack of success.
Yeah, lack of success. So I'm saying if you're in practice, you a wrestling coach, if you're in practice and that person does not say they don't do the move right, they don't do this, that's a failure. But listen, we're not looking at it as a negative thing. Failure is not negative. If you give your all, failure is positive.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we should seek it because it is positive. It's the only way to grow. It's the only way to get better. It's the only way they win that match. It's the only way that you grow as a person. It's the only way you grow your business. And this ain't just like something I'm just saying. Like this is something that I've actually learned over time, that we should always be failing, because if you're not failing, you're not growing. Like I'm being literal.
I just think we should always be working to improve.
Right. But I get what you're saying because you're still looking at it as a negative.
Yeah, because in that aspect, because perfection doesn't exist.
Right. Well,
you're going to be like doing that forever.
Right. But let me say this. To me, I don't ever look at something that I don't ever look anymore. I don't look at, like I said, failure as a negative thing, right? Because to me, there is no other option than to give your all. There is no other option than to be prepared. There is no other option. So let's take out the negative altogether. Okay. The negative altogether. You prepared, you gave your all. I look at failure and I name failure as a positive thing. I need it to grow. That's the only way I grow. Because you'll learn, man, when you work out for a period of time, 3 sets of 12 ain't gonna do you good no more. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to eventually add in some failure workouts to grow. You're gonna have to some failure though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about true failure. I'm talking about to the point where you can't even hit another one. And that failure makes you grow. That failure is actually it hurts, but it's positive for you. So when I say seek failure, I'm saying seek the point like where you can improve. Go to the point where you literally right here, you at your best, but you still can improve. That's what I mean by failure, because it's not like, oh, I failed, man, I did terrible. Like, I don't mean it like that. I tell you, get the negative out of there. The negative's gone. There is no negative in failure to me, right? There's only positive, because like I said, we're prepared when we go. Okay. Like, being unprepared, that's a failure in itself. So we're not even acknowledging that.
So we gotta be ready.
We prepared, we did our all, but I'm talking about the lessons. I named that's failure to me. There's a lesson there, so I can learn from it.
You can do it better.
Right, and I don't mean that you're literally, you're a failure.
No, I understand that, but I don't even think, I wouldn't consider that a failure at all. I'll just say, hey, what can we do better next time?
Right.
But I'm saying, if you call that a failure,
but I call that point right there where you looking like, okay, you didn't do the level that we want to go to, because and then the thing, like, it is something that, and this is why I do it, because it is something that always pushes you to the higher. Like, if you ever think that you made it, or that you're successful, or that you're there, then you can't. That stops the growth. So when I say I want to fail every day, that keeps me in student mode. Okay. It keeps me in a mode like, yo, I'm always learning. There's never a point, like, even if I tell a story to the the best, had you laughing, had you crying, there's something else I can do. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I could have timed my breath. You know, so
because
I don't
perfection doesn't exist, so you can always be better.
Right.
But
I know what you mean though, because like I said, we've been conditioned for so long to think of failure as a negative thing.
I don't know, man, and I'm okay with it being that way.
Right, and I mean that's cool. Like I know what you're
saying, and I think it's all right for us to think differently.
Right,
you know what I mean. So,
but I think we still think of it the same way.
It's like, exactly.
It's still the same.
Because at the end of it all, whether it's a failure or whether even you did great to whoever, like, you can still learn something. You can still take something from it. You can still improve upon it. You can still do better.
No doubt.
So I think that's the main point here. Like, you can always improve, failure or not. Right. The only failure is that even in practice, I don't believe you can fail in practice outside of. I don't believe you can fail at anything outside of just not giving it your all.
Right. And I'm telling you that in my mind that don't even exist.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to, in order to think about failure differently, maybe we need to get in the mindset is where we gonna give our all no matter what.
Yeah.
Because that's the only point where failure becomes a positive thing.
No, I think to me it doesn't exist then.
What, failure at all?
There's no failure there.
To me, like I said, I just named failure something different.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, like I said, from working out, from doing different things, that you want that. Like you want failure. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you want. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of bodybuilders, they work out, they do failure workouts. Yeah. They just go, and you know what I'm saying? Adding more weight, doing all type of crazy amount of reps. I heard some of them say we don't even count them until they hurt. You know what I'm saying? So we just go. We don't even 15. Because when you aim for a goal, like when you're working out, you aim for a goal. Most time our minds go towards the goal that we know we can reach. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know I can do 12 reps, 3 sets. That's nothing. Mm-hmm. When we go to that failure, it's like, yo, we going beyond. We pushing through pain. Like we growing. Like we giving it everything that we got, and we getting there when we hit that failure. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't even know you was that strong. You thought in your mind you set the goal. I'm doing 12. You hitting it, but really you can hit 15. Uh-huh. Really, you might even hit the 20. Now you know you can go up on the weight. So when I say a failure, man, failure allows us to make adjustments. I don't mean failure in a negative sense at all. And I get what you're saying, like it doesn't even exist if you're going to give your all. But I look at it like it's the only thing that makes us better. It's the only thing that's going to help us to grow. It's the only thing that shows us what we're really made of. That's how I look at it. That's just how I look at it. I embrace it and I love it.
There it is.
In the right, but you got to have the right mindset for it.
You take it.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Because failure is inevitable.
Right.
I mean, failure in the sense of like you won't always hit your mark.
Right. Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So not that's what I mean, like I said, but like personal failure, like giving it your all, you can't fail.
Right. Yeah, you can't literally, yeah.
But yeah, you won't win every match. You won't win every tournament.
Right.
You won't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
won't do everything. Like you said, perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah, so inevitably you will lose.
Yep.
But to avoid failure,
real true failure.
Learn from it. There's a lesson in every loss.
Right.
So like, film. Film is probably one of the best coaching innovations ever created.
Right.
Ever.
Because it allows you to make those adjustments.
Yeah, exactly. So now, because now you can look at yourself from a bird view, from a third person perspective, and say, okay, what did I do here? Because it's hard. Right here, this is tunnel vision. Like, I'm always gonna go back to wrestling. It's tunnel vision. I see him.
Right.
What can I do to impose my will upon this
him?
Man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But from the outside, like, oh man, I should have did that. Dang, that's where he caught me. That's what happened. Yep. Blah, blah, blah. So you can learn from it. Yep. So even if like hearing it's like you don't like listen to. I think we should start doing that. It gives you a chance to see you do you.
Yep. And it's that accountability too. Yeah, you're right. It's that cut. You know.
So even if you don't like it, it's like, all right, man, you need that. You
yep.
You're right. I can do that. I can do that.
Yep. I like that, man. I like that. We're gonna take a smooth transition, but we were talking about adjustments, making adjustments, right? And as far as we gotta fail in order to make those adjustments. We got to learn in order to make those adjustments. So I want to challenge the listener right now. What are some areas that you can make some adjustments? For real, because a lot of times, like I said, like what's the most important thing? Like what's the one thing? I'm reading this book by Gary Keller called The One Thing, right? And like I said, a lot of times we doing this, we doing that, we doing this, that. What's the one thing that makes all those things move? What's the one thing you could put 80% of your energy into that will make everything else move? Think about that for a minute, because a lot of times we can go crazy, man. Like a lot of times we can be trying to do this, and and it seems like it's working, but none of it's really working. Like you're not doing anything well because you're trying to do everything. So what's the one thing that will get everything else moving? I want you to think about that before the next podcast. I want you to think like, what's that one thing? And I know for us in our business, it's us getting in there. It's not the book. It's the doing this. It's the speaking. It's the practicing. Like that's what's going to push us forward. So I want to leave you guys with that. Focus on that one thing. Okay. Figure out what that one thing is for you. Take care of yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like for real. Like some of us, like we running around and we really sleep deprived and we think we getting stuff done, but we not getting nothing done.
That is true, man. Like
we're not taking care of ourselves. We gotta learn to take care, man. We gotta take care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't feed our family. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't build the business. If we don't take care of ourselves, all we have is our health. So take care of yourself. Focus, have a deadlock focus on what's most important.
Yes, sir.
Because when you don't focus on things that's most important, the things that are important, they suffer. They suffer. I heard this yesterday, man. Oh my God. This was amazing, man. I wish I would have screenshotted this. So if you think about life and juggling, really when you're juggling, I didn't know this, really when you're juggling, you're only juggling one object. You're passing the rest. So you're focused on this one and you're passing the rest. So think about in your life, you have your family, you have your spirituality, you have work, you have friends, right? Let's just say those things, right? The rubber ball, say you're juggling these balls, right? And it's family, it's work, it's spirituality, and it's friends, right? So you're juggling all these. Work is a rubber ball. When it hits the ground, if it ever hits the ground, it's going to bounce back up. The rest are glass. So if you drop one of those, they break. So that's to say the most important things are the things that are the most fragile in our lives. The most important things are the things that if we stray away from, they starve. So focus in on the most important things, because the work, Like for us, the work is always going to be there. Now, don't get me wrong, you need to get the work done, but we can't neglect the important things in our life, like our health, like our families, like that. We can't neglect those things trying to build something that's the rubber versus the glass that can break, that's fragile. You know what I'm saying? So focus on those things that are most important, man. You got something that you want to leave them with, man?
I think we touched on it all today, man. But as we say, hit us up in the comments.
Don't be afraid to comment below. Like, give us some feedback, even if it's negative. Like, we gonna learn. Give us the cut. Give us the cut, cause we need the cut.
If you want us to touch on something, or maybe you got a topic or something you going through,
right? Maybe you got a question you want us to.
We might be going through it too. Yeah, something you want to answer us. If you start doing, it will be kind of interesting to get like some viewer Q&A.
Yeah.
We can start doing that. But again, be blessed. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, man. It's important. Remember, it's a marathon, guys. It's a marathon, and you got to have the people around you in your pit who going to be able to push you and help you change and help you.
Yeah, because being an entrepreneur, being your own business, being your own boss.
Or even a college student or whatever you are.
Whatever it may be. Nothing happens. You can't do nothing without you. So you got to make sure you are in well-working condition.
Right. You got to make sure that you're that well-oiled machine.
Mentally. So, I mean, even if, take a little break. Breathe. Walk.
That helps. Yeah. Right. And
mental health is just as important as physical health.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Mental health is everything. The brain controls it all.
Bro, yeah.
So if you don't take care of this, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not focusing on those things that's most important and you giving your energy to everything, you're going to crash.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose the race. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be in that marathon no more. So you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself, man. We covered a lot today, man. I'm proud of this, man. This felt good.
This is a good one.
This felt good. So guys, be blessed. Tune in to the next edition, the 14th edition of this, man. We gonna grow, man. We are gonna grow, man. We on the journey.
Right now.
We want you to the one word, man. Okay. The one word, we gonna motivate you. My man gonna give me, it's a new segment. We just introduced it last week. My man gonna give me one word, and I'm gonna motivate you with it. It's off the top. I don't know what he gonna say. Something. Spoon. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Okay. Man, when I think of spoon, I think of a utensil, a tool, right? It's a tool to eat with. Like, we don't want to sit there, and it's kind of messy when you sit there and do like this, right? So, in our lives, what are the tools that are in place that allow us to stay in order, to allow us to not be sloppy, to allow us not to get too dirty? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the tools in our lives, man? Like, for real. We were just talking about it. Having that accountability partner. Having them people that can hold us in line that say, yo, like you know what I'm saying? Like, with the spoon, if you put your hand in there and it's hot, you're going to burn yourself or something. You know what I'm saying? You put your hand in there, it's messy. You put your hand in there, it's sloppy. But with that spoon, you got that utensil, you got that tool. What's the tool? I got a tool for you. Get back up. This is the tool. This is the tool. This is the tool. I really feel like, man, guys, if you read this book, I'll give you your money back if it don't help you. Like, for real. This book right here, man, it changed my life. And I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, I have to go back sometimes and read this thing and be like, yo, I needed that. Like, for real, this book, man, I'm amazed at it. And I'm not just saying that to be like, I'm amazed that God put this in me, man. Like, for real, I couldn't believe it. And as a matter of fact, we're going to end on this. God put something in you that you got to get out. Like, for real, he stored something up in you that you have to unleash. Like, seriously, there's so many people that's walking around right now with greatness stored inside, with something that can change the world stored inside. And they're not going to release it for some reason. They're too afraid, or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you right now, release it, because this world needs it. It needs it. I never thought I would do this. I never thought I'd be speaking. I never thought I'd be doing this podcast. But God stored some things up inside of me, guys. So unleash that thing that's stored up inside of you. Be blessed. Pick up the spoon, baby.